Hey guys, how you doing? Retri put out, I should say Retribution Angel put out a tagging you video not too long ago, and I thought it was a really brilliant idea, and I wanted to take time to do it. Haven't been able to get around to it until today. Real truth be told, I guess everybody was sick. I was sick. I just didn't feel like it, but I definitely wanted to take part in it because I saw the huge response from the community. Just a great idea. So thank you, Retri, for putting that out. Anyway, so on to the questions, and I'll just do them in the order that they're listed here. And forgive me if I ramble. Just a lot of information, and it kind of evokes a lot of history, I guess. Why we're in the game, what we enjoy about it, things like that. So anyway. Here goes. How did you get into wargaming? Well, it's a long story. It started when I was probably about 12 years old. I had a pretty serious injury. I was in the hospital for a couple of months, and during that time, my father was bringing me comic books. Now, up to that point, I had seen comics, but I didn't really have an interest in them. And he brought me, it was an X-Men edition with Wolverine versus Sabretooth. And I know this isn't game related, but it's kind of some history. I totally loved it, thought it was the best thing ever, which led me then to go to a comic book shop. And in that comic book shop, they also had games. For those of you in Tulsa, it was Starbase 21 on 21st and Sheridan. Great store, great bunch of guys. I hear they've moved to a smaller store, and they had miniatures in a case, a glass case, a display case. I had no idea what they were for. I had no idea that they had to be painted or assembled or any of that. Didn't even know they were pewter. I just thought they came that way. Nobody really played 40K, or at that time it was Rogue Trader, so I couldn't find anybody who knew anything about it. Couldn't find any information. This was all pre-internet, right? Or at least pre-internet like we know it today. I saw it, thought it was cool, didn't really bother with it. A couple of years later, I got into BattleTech with a friend. Didn't really like it. I liked the miniatures, I liked painting them, but I wasn't too thrilled with the game. It was a fun game, liked the fluff, but I don't know, something was missing. It didn't really click. I kind of put that down. I did a lot of RPGing until college, and then a buddy of mine introduced me to Epic 40K. I loved it. I thought, all of these miniatures, tiny scale, just brilliant. You can have this huge battle, titans and bikes and everything, all these different crazy war engines, and yeah, so I loved it. I was hooked. But anyway, he kept discouraging me from looking at what was then, I guess, really kind of a skirmish size game. 40K wasn't huge scale at that point, as I recall. It was really kind of more like Necromunda, where you had just a couple of squads and maybe a vehicle or two. It wasn't like it is today. But anyway, so I kind of shied away from it. I mean, he kept telling me, oh, it's prohibitively expensive, and you're going to sink a bunch of money into it. Just stick with Epic and you can get this huge army and blah blah blah. Well, anyway, I kept thinking about it, and a couple of years later, another buddy of mine was saying, hey, I play 40K. Thought he was talking about Epic. Come to find out, he was talking about, the 30mm, 32mm, 28mm heroic scale, whatever it is. Anyway, so I thought, hey, that's awesome. So I went to the game shop, another game shop, listened to the spiel. The guy's telling me, buy Battle Force boxes, buy the big sets. It's the best way to break into the game. So of course I did the opposite. I went and bought Tactical Squad, took that home, tore it apart, found out everything was on sprues. We had to cut it out. There's mold lines, all this stuff that I had no idea. So it was kind of like every time I would encounter something, I'd have to ask somebody, well, hey, what do you do with this? Well, hey, so I have to scrape those mold lines. Well, what do I use to get that off? I tried painting with enamel paints, just everything that you can possibly do wrong. Got with a couple of guys, and over time, figured out, of course, acrylic paints, try to use nice brushes, things like that, to try to help you out, water down your paints, all that good stuff. Like I said, forgive me if I ramble. For how long have you been playing war games? Well, probably since, I guess off and on since 1989. What war games do you play? What's your favorite? Right now, I play Malifaux, I play 40K, and I guess that's it for right now. Obviously, 40K is my favorite. What army or armies do you play, and what's your favorite? Well, I have Blood Ravens, I have Blood Angels, I have Space Wolves. As you can see, I've got a lot of Marines. I've got a massive Orc army, which has yet to be painted or really have anything done to it. What is your least favorite army, and what would you never play? I don't know if I said my last one. Obviously, my favorite army is my Blood Ravens. But anyway, on to question 5. What's my least favorite army? I don't know that I have a least favorite. Used to be Dark Eldar. I don't think there is any that I would never play. I guess Tau might be my least favorite, mostly because when they came out, they didn't seem to fit the genre. They seemed really more anime and not so dark. It just didn't fit the gothic nature of 40k in my opinion. I mean, I like the Taos fluff, I think it's cool, but it just didn't seem to fit. I guess I've softened on them a little bit. I really like certain units. I like the look of certain units. What was your first army? Well, my first army, as I said earlier, was Space Marines. That's a lot of fun. Still my favorite. What was your first model kit you bought? Yeah, that was the Tactical Marine box. Number 8, why do you play or collect the army that you play? I'm not real sure. I guess initially kind of wanted to play a human army, which Space Marines are kind of stretching the human aspect, I guess, but it just appealed to me. I couldn't wrap my head at the time around the Tyranid. I actually wanted to play Imperial Guard first. Why do you play or collect the army that you play? I like the toughness of the Space Marines. I like the fact that, you know, they have this armor that makes them nigh impervious to harm. Well, that's a stretch, but they're pretty tough. Arguably one of the tougher units in the game. So I don't know, there's something about them. I love the fluff. I love their mindless dedication to what they perceive to be the right, which isn't always, I mean, as we've known from history, that can go catastrophically wrong. But it's something about it appealed to me. Something about that the bravery, the mindless dedication to the task. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of the thing that attracted me to the whole genre, I guess. How much did you approximately spend on wargaming in your gaming life, and how much do you spend a month? Well, lately, I'd say since probably about a year and a half, I haven't spent much at all, if anything. Mostly just because, as a lot of you know, times are kind of tough right now, so it doesn't make sense to spend money on luxury items like gaming and hobby stuff. But fortunately for me, I was a hoarder, and I bought way more stuff than I could put together. I actually just bought my first 40k thing in probably a year and a half for my birthday here recently. Are you more of a gamer or more a hobbyist? You know, I would say I'm more of a hobbyist, but I enjoy the game. I'm probably going to have to go with both of those. I don't know, that's kind of, it's an even split, I guess. Anyway, number 11, do you play all your models? Or, I'm sorry, do you paint all your models? Yes, I do. I've actually had a couple of models sent to me, painted, and they were very well done. Just people who, out of the kindness of their own heart, said, hey, you know, I just painted this up for you, send it to you. I've done videos on stuff that's been sent to me, which I'm always honored to receive, but for the most part, I like to paint my own stuff, just primarily because that's part of the fun for me. You know, some folks would prefer to get their stuff painted, and you know, some people just want to play the game. Nothing wrong with that. You know, it's a hobby. You do it for the reasons that you do it. How good a painter are you on a scale from 1 to 10? These questions always kind of make me crazy. Well, I don't consider myself Golden Demon standard, but and I'm sorry, Retri, I don't really know what that means. Mostly because every year it gets tougher. So, I mean, it seems like to me, if you look at the old edition of White Dwarf and you look at the Golden Demon stuff, it's like some of it's kind of like, wow, I can paint better than that. But it was years ago, right? So every year it gets tougher. And every year someone steps up their game, finds some new technique. So, but I understand what you're saying. I understand the question. I guess I would put myself at maybe a 6. If I wanted to spend the time on it, I think I could get a 10. I just don't have all the techniques down. I don't, from a technical standpoint, I don't know all the things that I would need to do. I'm sure I could do it. It would take a lot more time than I'm willing to put into it. I'm more interested in the good tabletop quality. Do you read White Dwarf? I used to read White Dwarf all the time. I used to get it on a regular basis. But when they raised the price to $10, I was like, no way. You know, I can buy, you know, I could put that toward a model or paint or brushes or something. So unless it's a really interesting issue or something that I'm excited about, I usually won't pick it up. If it's a paint technique that I really want to learn, or if they put some kind of hobbyist thing in there that I like, then yeah, I'll pick it up. But other than that, man, I haven't bought one in months. I think the last one was during the Blood Angels release. So number 14, do you stay updated on game on the game? Do you check all the new codexes and FAQs? Yes, I do. I don't always catch them as soon as they come out, but I look at Bella Lost Soul, Warseer, Daka Daka, and they usually give you a pretty good heads up on when that stuff comes out. So yes, I do keep up with that. Do you play more to win or for fun? Well, I mean, obviously I want to win, but for the most part, I just like to play for fun. Don't really get upset when I lose. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't. I field things that don't make sense, and I do it not because I don't know how to build an army list, because I do. I do it because I like the cinematic idea of it. Like, for example, I might field an army of all bikes, which is in no way, in my opinion, a competitive army. Can be. For the most part, I just, I have 30 some odd bikes. I just want to see what that looks like on a table. How does that build out? How do the points look? How does it play? What are the pros and cons of it? I learn real quick what the strengths and weaknesses of units are by doing them in mass. The next thing I want to do is run a scout army. I've got a ton of scouts. I just want to throw them out there and have some fun. Do I expect to win? Absolutely not. But do I think it'll be fun? Oh yeah. I like a good narrative. I like to think, why would these armies be on the field? What's reasonable? Would a chapter master show up for this battle? Why is he here? I like that kind of stuff. So for me, it's not just the mechanics of the game. It's not just throw my stuff down, play a game. It's think about the story. Now, I'm not sitting there telling a story at the table, but in my head, I'm kind of going over it like, why would these guys be here? But anyway, do you play, number 16, do you play in tournaments? Last year, or year before last, I guess it was now, I played in Ardboys, and I do the local leagues and local tournaments. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Again, I'm not real competitive. That's not to say that I don't try to win. I don't absolutely have to win at all costs. And in a tournament environment, that's really what's expected of you. I don't really go out for those. I do well, but yeah, I'm just not motivated to do it. I'm in the league right now, the 40K league at my shop. I'm undefeated so far. That can change. Number 17. How good a gamer are you on a scale from 1 to 10? 10 is the best. I'd say I'm about a 7. But then again, as each new codex comes out, I think I go up and down on a scale. Of course, I have to relearn what works, what doesn't work. Tactics keep shifting, so as the metagame changes, you have to change. So I guess I should say in my ability to adapt to situations, I would put myself at about a 7. Am I a good gamer? I don't know. I'd have to ask the guys I play against. Number 18. Did you ever cheat in a game? Yes, I did. I like an absolutely clean game. I like to let the dice just determine the things that I can't control. Let the dice determine it, and however they fall, just accept that. Cheating is absolutely reprehensible, and I think we all cheat to some degree, but no, that's not true. I guess we all make mistakes, right? If you make a mistake unknowingly, you do something, I don't think that's cheating. If you continue to do it and you never try to correct it, then yeah, I think that's cheating. Number 19. Do you sometimes get mad when you lose? Only when I find out I've been cheated. Only when I later find out, hey, that guy was using this incorrectly, knowingly, that makes me mad. But for the most part, I'll shake the guy's hand and laugh about it, talk about the game, try to figure out where I went wrong, what I could have done better, ask the guy, if they're amenable to it, ask them, hey, what do you think I could have done differently? Try to learn from it, it's really about having fun. Are you a lucky gamer? Do you get lucky at dice rolling? I think my dice are average, man. I think if I play long enough, it might look like I'm having a lucky streak, but as Sean from Blue Table Painting puts it, lady averages will slap you in the mouth pretty soon. So yeah, man, my dice roll average. I don't know, I'm a lucky gamer. Anyway, guys, appreciate you watching. Thanks, Retri, for putting this up. That was a great idea. Glad to take part in it. Hope to see more of these. Alright, guys, take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.